I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3508, 800-378-3508. That's 800-378-3508. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Welcome to the show today. All right, we're getting ready to go into the long holiday, hot 4th of July weekend. Beautiful weekend up here in the Northeast. I'm excited for the holiday weekend. You know the show is carried on the American Forces Radio Network. I'd like to take this time to give a huge thank you out to our military. They, lay it down for us year after year, and couldn't let the 4th of July weekend go by without saying a thank you to them. So today's show is going to be brought to you by telewellnessmd.com. That's telewellnessmd.com. We're going to be talking a little bit about how prevention, wellness, weight loss affects all of us. But we're going to talk also about therapies that Dr. Brent Agin can offer you through telewellnessmd.com. So we're going to be bringing him back in the first, second, and third segment, so we can talk to him a little bit about some of the therapies that they offer. I highly recommend that you scoot on over to telewellnessmd.com and book a consultation with Dr. Agin. And then he is able to then structure a plan specifically designed for what you're looking for, whether it's anti-aging, weight loss, wellness. He's got it all. So make a consultation with Dr. Brent Agin from telewellnessmd.com. Very excited that he's coming back. We definitely are on the same page. I pick up everything he's laying down and totally subscribe to his way of thinking. You are listening to Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 217 and on the app 967, The Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Also, check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. That's MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Check it out. We are a full service multi-line agency. We've got some great products for you. Check it out. We're going to be talking sports coming up also. What do we have? About 11 Sundays till the NFL kicks off. I'm very excited about that. As you know, if you follow my show, you know I'm a rabid football fan. So very excited about that. So again, we're going to be bringing back Dr. Brent Agin of Telewellness MD after the break. This is Marcia Hawkins. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. You can find me on iHeartRadio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon Audible, and so much more. So check it out. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Dr. Brent Agin. We'll be right back.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Wait, every time you wake up is the same day? That's terrible.
Don't worry, I call Progressive. Their 24/7 protection still works even if my day does last forever.
Yeah, but don't you want it to end?
Are you kidding? I win the lottery whenever I want and never regret anything. It's the best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Are you looking for solutions for health and wellness at home? Please visit antiagingbed.com. They are on a mission to use proven technology to provide you with healthy solutions to many conditions that affect all of us physically and mentally. Use promo code WELLNESS for your discount. Antiagingbed.com. Technology proven to help you feel your best. Use promo code WELLNESS. Antiagingbed.com. Feel your best. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by telewellnessmd.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agin today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. telewellnessmd.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by telewellnessmd.com, promo code Marcia. Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by marciahawkinsagency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out marciahawkinsagency.com and book a consultation today. marciahawkinsagency.com. All right, welcome back. You are listening to Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203-217 on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. As I said, we're bringing back Dr. Brent Agin to talk about one of my favorite subjects, health, wellness, preventative medicine, and so much more. So welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited.
Yes, we had a great show last week, and I couldn't wait to get you back. Kind of a funny weekend for people. I had a couple of people reschedule, and I thought, no, I'm going to get Dr. Agin back on because I am in my email, as I said, I want to, talk to you more about some of the therapies that you do, because I myself absolutely, completely 100% subscribe to everything that you're doing. So I just want to recap a little bit about your background. Obviously you went to med school. You are a general practitioner by trade, if you will. And you decided that you are most likely not going to be able to have the impact on your patients that if you went the traditional way in terms of servicing your patients. And you decided that you wanted to go the root cause route. Talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to dive right into the therapies.
Yeah, you nailed it. I just early in my residency, I just kind of saw how traditional approaches to medicine, which is, really waiting for people to be sick and then offering them a solution. Whereas I thought it was pretty novel to just try to keep people from being sick and minimize, hospitalizations and doctor visits. And so, just jumped into really focusing on everything that we could do to age better and prevent disease. And most importantly, I wanted to do it so I myself could age better and kind of reap the benefits of the education that I was going to pursue. So that was it.
So let me ask you, maybe you'll want to answer it, maybe you won't, but do you have any idea why medicine has taken such a hard turn to actually treating symptoms and not really getting at the root cause of what's causing your symptoms?
Well, I could get really deep into it, but, unfortunately, our healthcare system does run on illness. If we had no illness, we have a lot of for-profit hospitals and medical groups. And so if there's no illness, there's no healthcare. And so, I don't know why they don't focus more on lifestyle, nutrition, fitness, diet, sleep, which I'm sure we'll get more into. But I definitely, I definitely don't understand exactly how we've gotten to this point, because I think everybody understands that, illness isn't going away. We're seeing rise in illness in every category of health. And so it makes no sense for how much money we spend on healthcare, but yet we're getting sicker as a society. So I think everyone understands that it's a broken system, but how to fix it and why we got to this point seems, is a big conversation. And I think a lot of people have different theories about it, but all I know is that we are in desperate need of preventative medicine. And so that is why that was really why Telewellness MD was created, is just to give access to people to non-traditional therapies that support healthy living. And if you can embrace this and put it into your lifestyle, you're not only going to age better, but you're going to prevent disease. They kind of go hand in hand. And so we're just trying to get the message out there to let people know that they don't have to wait till they're sick, that there are a lot of therapies out there that can help them, age better and have more vitality. And you just have to seek it out, because the doctors in the traditional practices aren't going to put it out there or offer it to you.
Yeah, that it's kind of funny, because as I'm listening to you, on one hand, yes, you're right. I mean, there's no money in medicine if everyone's healthy, and I get all that. But at the same time, if you have, your traditional insurance and the doctor says, okay, well, let's rule some stuff out for you. And then they order the test. A lot of times the insurance company is not going to approve it. If you're in the hospital, it's all about how quickly they can get you out. I mean, I have a friend who works at a local hospital, and her job is to keep you out of the hospital for the insurance companies. It's insane. So, I mean, on one hand, I get that. But then even if you do become sick, it doesn't feel to me anyways that they're there to really kind of get to the root of it and fix it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's a very, it's been an interesting 20 years when I've never practiced in a traditional healthcare system.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've only practiced under an insurance-based model for a couple years, and when you have to spend most of your day trying to get the insurance companies to pay you, you can see in itself that that's a problem. We're one of the only professions that have to, that if you practice under an insurance model, you have to basically wait to get paid. You can't set your hourly rate. Personal trainers can, barbers can, accountants, lawyers, everyone. But our profession, we have to fall under what the insurance companies feel we should get paid and how much we should get paid and what they're going to pay us for. And that leaves doctors frustrated, and then they're in a rush to try to figure out how to make a living in the profession, especially with how much time they dedicated to education. And then that's where it starts to snowball, because doctors are starting to have to put more and more patients on their schedule just to make ends meet. And so when you move out of that insurance model, you're in a position where patients will pay what they think your value is, but now you can start really diving into individualized medicine and giving people individualized care. And that's where you can start really helping people even treat disease, but more importantly is prevent it.
Yeah, that's so important, because as you know, I write health insurance, and it's frustrating because I'll sell a plan to somebody and they'll call up and say, well, now they're saying they don't cover this. And I said, well, I kind of went over all of that with you, but there's just a myth out there. If you have health insurance, everything is covered, and nothing could be further from the truth, especially if you have a private plan. And then, of course, with Obamacare, what I'm finding is, the matrix that you can plug in to see whether or not your doctor accepts the insurance. It's unfortunate. So if you go to maybe a general and maybe two specialists, and I plug that in, chances are maybe one of them might take it. So a lot of the healthcare providers are pulling out of Obamacare. So it's very difficult for people to get the healthcare, especially if they have an established relationship with a doctor and they're not willing to change that. I mean, that's the big thing. I get into open enrollment, I'm jumping through hoops of fire trying to, find people, providers that they are willing to go. I mean, I've had people say, forget it, I don't want it then. If I can't go to my doctor, what good is it? So it's very frustrating. Again, you go in and, it's kind of too bad, but as I said in our last show, I do an intake, and as soon as somebody starts telling me some of the medications they're taking, I instinctively know chances are they're going to tell me they're type 2 diabetic, or they're going to tell me that they have acid reflux. I mean, it's just amazing the side effects from these medications. And yet people just feel, I don't know, I hate to say it because you're a doctor, but doctors and lawyers are treated like, God sometimes, and whatever they're telling you, they take it as gospel. And let's face it, there are some really good doctors out there, and there's some that are maybe not so good. So, then you're navigating that whole,
Right.
that whole area. So it's very frustrating. I understand from the consumer standpoint, especially because the cost of health insurance is so high. And then you go to use it and you can't. And then if you do manage to get in there, they're going to throw you a script and hope that that takes care of your symptoms. And as you know, and I'm sure you'll admit, it's like putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not getting at what's causing those symptoms. Drives me nuts. It really does.
Yeah, you nailed it. And with what you just mentioned about, doctors and insurance plans, it really takes away from the continuity of healthcare. And so, especially in mental illness, these people go and get established with some doctor or a counselor, and next thing you know, their insurance drops them. They got to go start over again. And, so that lack of continuity is really what starts to fuel a lot of this, polypharmacy, and where people are on medicines that shouldn't be together. And it gets really confusing, especially as in our elders, when they're just thrown to different doctors. And like you said, they think what the doctors say is absolutely accurate, and they just do what they say. And next thing you know, illness just continues. They just kind of find themselves in this downward spiral of advanced aging.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I know, like with these statins and some other things. And again, I'm not talking about life-saving medication. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when you're going in for a routine physical and your cholesterol's high and your blood pressure's high and you're overweight, and perhaps maybe, your intake of alcohol is a little higher than it should be. And yeah, maybe you're consuming processed foods and you're not really looking at your overall health, and a doctor just keeps throwing you script after script. And that's not healthcare. I'm sorry. It's not healthcare. And I know you would agree with that. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I want to talk about some of the therapies that Telewellness MD offers. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203-217 and on the Sirius XM app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, and the American Forces Radio Network. Quick break. We're going to talk with Dr. Agin and come back.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. Again, that's 800-449-1759.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
All right, welcome back to the program. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. I want to jump right back with Dr. Brent Agin of TelewellnessMD.com. So welcome back to the program. We were talking in the first part about the messed up healthcare system and how it's just not getting better. In my opinion, it's getting worse. I mean, we got the government involved, and I understand the theory behind Obamacare, but unfortunately, it leaves quite a few people left behind. And even if you have it, your provider may not accept it. And good luck sometimes getting the care that you need. Telling it the way it is. All right, Dr. Agin, welcome back to the program. I want to talk a little bit about the therapies that people could experience once they go through an intake with you through TelewellnessMD.com. So let's talk about that. So the initial thing they do is they can go to the website, book a consultation with you. And I've done them. Again, full disclosure, I am one of your patients. And you will then walk through and tell me like what you're looking for when you're doing an intake.
Yeah. And so, we have a network of physicians. So it really comes down to where you are in the country and which states you are in. And so we have a network of physicians that are, that understand non-traditional medicine and this type of lifestyle medicine. But yeah, so, like we mentioned before, is that the one thing that we're trying to improve on, and this is great being on your show, is to get more listeners to understand that there are outlets to find some of these lifestyle therapies that we're going to talk about. So when we have a lot of educated clients that come to us because they kind of already have done their research on some of these therapies, but this is a very, very small percentage of people out there. And so, some of them, this is really new to them. And so when they come on and they fill out a small questionnaire, and then they set up a time for a consultation with one of our physicians. And usually they have a starting point. Some people will call in and they say, hey, I really need to lose some weight. Some people will call in and say, hey, I'm not sleeping well, or some people that are that have a pretty good lifestyle. They want to improve on their performance or their athletics. Some are trying to that are on a lot of medications, are trying to find ways to come off their medications because their doctors aren't helping them with that. So there's a lot of different issues that people will have or are interested in getting help with. But ultimately, the most beautiful thing about non-traditional healthcare, when you get into functional medicine, is that we're all really providing therapies and guidance to just improve lifestyle. And once you get some of these therapies going and you start making progress and you start feeling better, you start losing weight, you start sleeping better, you start you're more happy, you have more energy. After you start getting it down and your lifestyle becomes habit, or it becomes a lifestyle, these changes become a lifestyle, it becomes a lot less expensive because sleep, diet, and exercise are free. Then it just becomes down to modifying your behaviors. And so we really address a lot of different things. And when you go to our website, you'll see we have so many different therapies from, erectile dysfunction, that's another one that's just unbelievable, that there are a lot of men out there that have, almost just committed to not having intercourse anymore because they have erectile dysfunction, but they don't realize that there's therapies that have been out there for 25, 30 years that are so successful for erections with less side effects. But they just had no idea. Their doctors never mentioned it. And certain peptides to help with weight management. So there's so many things. And you can see I get so passionate about it because I just wish more people knew that these therapies were available.
What a term, functional medicine. I mean, why is that not on the lips of every single doctor or healthcare practitioner? It just astounds me. It really does. And you're right. There's so many people who suffer in silence and don't realize that there are other avenues. I think, part of it is people get so frustrated. I can count on my hands and toes the amount of people I know say, well, I went to the doctors, they did nothing. And there's quite a few shows on. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big TV person, but I have seen clips where these people have these growths on their head, or they have all sorts of things wrong with them. And then you find out, well, I've been going to the doctor and they just keep telling me there's nothing they can do. I just, again, that is where the health insurance kicks in. And you're right. And that's so sad that your rates are set by an insurance company, which, everybody's losing. The provider's losing, the patient's losing, but who's winning here? The health insurance companies. Just drives me insane that this is where we've come to. And you're right about the elderly. I feel really bad. I think old school medicine, when I think of my parents and stuff, they really, they went to a doctor at the time where it really was about your health. But somewhere, I think around the 70s, maybe the 80s is when there was a huge shift, and the insurance companies, in my opinion, got really, really greedy. So yeah, it's crazy. You talk about sleep. I want to take the third segment to talk about restorative sleep. But can you talk a little bit about some of the therapies for weight loss, and what somebody would what would be involved in somebody who would start on some of these therapies, and how quickly they could expect to see results?
Yeah. So, my big thing is that you can see that we obviously have a continual rise in obesity and no sign of it stopping. And so I think that the biggest thing we promote, again, when you're surrounding everything around lifestyle, is that we tell people, one is you can't compromise health for weight loss. And so, we try to teach people not necessarily diets, because, a lot of people have tried diets and they don't find success. I think the statistic is still around 80% of a failure rate, especially when you look at our statistics of overweight and obesity. So, we have programs that have products to, kind of lead people into a way of eating that isn't a diet. It's a way of approaching the way you eat. So like timing, like intermittent fasting, which we talked about, to me, without even a packaged program, if someone just introduced intermittent fasting as a tool for themselves, they're already going to be starting down a new path of getting control of their eating. And, when you got your diet under control and your weight starts being reduced, so many things improve. So we have, package programs that people can, utilize just to get them started. It might be 3 months, it might be 6 months, but it has products for fat burning. It has products to help them sleep better. It has products for helping with mood and brain health. So it's a nice package to get people started. It has a nice booklet that kind of runs them through why intermittent fasting, how intermittent fasting works, the science behind it. And then of course of including all your macronutrients as well, because so many people, when they diet, they drop their calories, they're not eating enough protein, they drop all the carbohydrates, and then they don't get results. And then they basically go back to their old eating style, and this vicious cycle just continues. And so that's kind of the starting point for weight loss. And then we have other therapies as well. Like there's one that's really popular now called semaglutide, which it's been around for a while. Some brand names that people are more aware of, but all it does is it helps suppress appetite and makes your insulin more sensitive, while kind of stopping how our body would continue to break down our carb stores to make more sugar. And so it really just makes the way you process your sugars more optimal. And when you do that, along with a intermittent fasting or at least some sort of an eating strategy, then when you stop the therapy, the peptide therapy, then you're already set into an eating program that is sustainable. And so we always are we don't want to give anyone the consideration of a magic pill. And so it's really coaching people to understanding that it has to become a lifestyle. And that's why, I never will put people on, therapies that are going to compromise health.
That's a good point, because you're right. This is not a magic pill. It is. It's a complete lifestyle modification. Talk a little bit about how, and confirm or deny, when you go on a low carb diet, and let's say you're on it for like 3 months and then you go off it, is it true that you're training your body to actually store carbs more if you abandon that way of eating?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Because most of the time when people go on low carb diets, you can go low carb for 2 to 4 weeks. But when you continue it, most of the time when you're low carb, you're also decreasing your appetite. You're basically in a fasting state in a sense. That's what Atkins did. And, we kind of saw how Atkins, failed in a sense. And so,
I think he died.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, yeah. And so if your diet doesn't contain all your macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrates, you're going to end up having a rebound effect of weight gain. And the other thing is that a lot of times, especially women, when they go low carb, they end up feeling like absolute crap. And then eventually they try carbs, and all of a sudden their brain works again. They're happy again. I mean, they get extremely moody. And the next thing you know, they're like, what, I'll diet tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow. And then, 3-6 months go back, they gain all their weight back, and they start over again.
I think we're going to get some crap from saying that only happens to women.
Well, they unfortunately are kind of set up for, as we know, they just don't have the same hormonal makeup, and it makes it a lot more difficult.
I'm just giving you a hard time because I can. All right. I want to talk about restorative sleep when we come back from the break, but we do need to take one. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia on XM 203-217. And on the SiriusXM app at 967 Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. I'm getting excited about 11 weeks till football. I love football. I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. And a lot of sports news going on. But unfortunately, I want to talk about health and wellness and weight loss and restorative sleep right now, because I feel it is something very, very necessary. Quick break. We'll be right back with Dr. Brent Agin of Telewellness, MD.
Progressive's Home Court Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
If you were head coach, you would not have gone for it on 4th down. Your confidence in your play calling ability might be a little overblown, considering you're barely confident in which restaurant to order takeout from, let alone choosing a play in front of 70,000 screaming fans.
But you definitely can use Progressive's Home Court Explorer to easily compare rates. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
Hi, Marcia Hawkins here of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. We're a full-service multi-line agency, and we offer a unique product called Indexed Universal Life Insurance. It's not your typical life insurance policy. Learn how you can pull money out tax-free in retirement with an Indexed Universal Life product. Please check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com and book a consultation today. MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. Please stop by TelewellnessMD.com. Receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code Marcia. Book your consultation with Dr. Brent Agin today. Learn about their products and therapies to help you look and feel your best. TelewellnessMD.com with the promo code Marcia. Stop by TelewellnessMD.com, promo code Marcia.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, TeamAvenueBaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Remember your favorite movie moments? Ever thought about collecting them and connecting with your favorite creators? Now you can turn that wish into a reality with Reel 8. Reel 8 is an inaugural NFT marketplace for fans to collect exclusive behind-the-scenes moments. With Reel 8, you can access unique experiences like meeting the cast and crew live. Visit reel8.com/USA now to join a community of like-minded fans and get even closer to the films you love. Don't miss the latest NFT drop. Check out reel8.com/USA. That's REEL, the number 8.com/USA.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia. I'm going to jump right back into the program because we are on the final segment. So let's talk a little bit about restorative sleep. I want to know the impact it can have, not only on your overall health, but how it impacts things like weight loss and aging, because I know you are well-versed on this. So let's talk a little bit about that first.
Yeah. So, sleep is one that, is so difficult, because sleep is such or insomnia is such a common complaint because, once you have insomnia, as you can imagine, just the thought it creates so much anxiety for people. Once they can't sleep, just as night's approaching, they're already getting anxious. They're already kind of putting themselves in a position to fail because they're stimulating themselves. That they're naturally increasing their sympathetic tone, and their fight or flight hormones are coming in. Mm-hmm. Their heart rate's going up, and and then they're not going to sleep, and it becomes a very vicious cycle. And it gets very frustrating because obviously there's so many different things that happen when we sleep, and it's not just sleeping. It's the quality of our sleep. And it really that's the most important part, is it's not necessarily the quantity, it's the quality. And so you're seeing a lot of, companies trying to put out various devices to help with tracking sleep. So you can see what types of deep stages of sleep you're getting in, your REM and your deep sleep versus light sleep. And so, we really try to get people to commit to a specific, sleep and wake cycle. We try to get people to go to bed between 10 and midnight, get up between 6 and 8, kind of when our natural circadian rhythm is working, where you're, based off of your cortisol, and that wakes you up, and your melatonin that puts you to sleep, and, all the various factors that can affect this cycle. And so, you have so many people that consume alcohol late into the evenings, and they feel like they're getting sleep, but they're never getting into the deep stages, which is where your body recovers, your brain recovers, you secrete key hormones like growth hormone and some of your, important androgens. And so it's so important, but yet there's so many different, you can just imagine, with the amount of stress that everybody has right now, our bodies are in a constant battle of chronic stress. And when you're in chronic stress, you have this really, your body starts to be secreting these hormones at strange times, and it just puts people into this position where they can't rely on your normal rhythms. And so then they start self-medicating. They're taking caffeine in the morning, they're drinking alcohol at night, or taking other remedies, and they're still struggling. And next thing you know, they ask their doctor, they get put on a sleep medicine, which then when are they going to get off of that? And so it's a real problem. And so that's why, lifestyle is so important, because if you're eating well, you're managing your behaviors, your habits like alcohol, and you're exercising, that is what helps induce this circadian rhythm that helps you sleep better. So it's, you kind of have to weather through the storm to kind of get that sleep back into a regular pattern, but it's so important.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the alcohol, because I do know that, if you're consuming alcohol at night, you're most likely going to get that sugar surge around 2 a.m. And so, if you've gone to bed at, 11 o'clock and all of a sudden you find yourself up at 2 o'clock, it's really hard for most people to get back to sleep. And it's a vicious cycle is what people are getting on, because you're right. So they wake up, they're tired, they're irritable. I think, when you're overtired, I think that is probably one of the biggest triggers of anxiety. So now they're anxious. So they're looking for a pill for the anxiety and depression. They're looking for a sleep pill. They're looking for something, to kind of pick them up during the day. At the end of the day, they're most likely going, to caffeine. I mean, I'm always amazed if I stop to get gas. There's a lot of coffee, like Dunkin' Donuts type places in a lot of these gas stations. And it always amazed me that when I was pumping gas in the morning, I would see these people come out with these huge, I don't know, it's a coffee colada or something that it's like the equivalent of like 5 cups of coffee. I mean, I don't know if they were. I know back in the day they were because I researched them once and I thought, oh my God, I had an employee that was drinking them like water. And she started to have, heart palpitations and she wasn't feeling well. And I just happened to look it up and I said, do you realize how much caffeine and sugar are in those? And she's like, no, I had no idea. And it is, you get on this vicious cycle. And then of course, you're eating all that sugar and then you find yourself, 20 minutes, an hour later, and you're starving again. And you go for that quick fix. And what a vicious cycle people are on. And it's not just, a minority of people. It's a large lion's share of the country that lives like that.
Yeah, and you nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what happens. I mean, you can just, like you said, you brought up sleep. So just imagine when someone can't sleep, even if they take a medicine or they drink alcohol, they don't get quality sleep. They're tired when they get up. They drink caffeine. Caffeine, especially if you're drinking over 400 milligrams a day, starts to, even exacerbate the problem. And so now you're having, more hormonal dysfunction. And so what happens is that when you're tired, you have no drive. You start getting, like you said, you start having sugary drinks, caffeinated drinks, and then you start spiking your insulin, and then you start gaining weight, and then you stop exercising because you're tired, and that is exactly the pattern that happens. And then once you're in a position where you're insulin resistant, you're over your ideal weight, you're not sleeping well, you're on several medicines, you didn't exercise, which pretty much nobody gets regular exercise in the United States anymore. It is so hard for people to break that cycle. I mean, you really have to get someone committed, and you can see how daunting that whole task is.
Yeah, no, that is so true. And it's unfortunate because, these people will go to the doctors and say they're not sleeping. And I mean, I had a friend that was taking them. Again, I do intakes for health insurance. And when I hear that people are taking pills for sleep, I want to cringe. I do know of an individual who decided to get some help with sleep. And ironically, 2 weeks into the therapy, she tried to kill herself.
Wow.
Came out of nowhere. Nobody had any idea why this happened. And sure enough, one of the side effects with the drug that she was taking was suicidal tendencies. That alone, it floors me that people would be willing to take something like that. Again, I'm not talking about life-saving medication. To me, if you can't sleep, Facebook is loaded with people who are insomniacs. You can see them on at, 2:00 in the morning, and you're looking at it and going, wow, they were posting at like 2:00 in the morning, and they're up and they're just, full of energy and they can't sleep and they're just posting, nonstop. And I just, for me, I always revert back to, all right, why am I not sleeping? What happened? Because I'm a huge, huge fan of restorative sleep. I really do believe it is the elixir of life. I feel like when, you're able to, whatever it is you need, because you're right, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. I, for one, can run on 5 hours. I'm fine on 5 hours. I'm good, but it's got to be quality sleep. So what happens, I have to believe that not getting enough sleep is definitely going to contribute, as you said, to obesity. And then, you got to wonder, are people getting up in the middle of the night and chugging down another drink trying to get to sleep? Because I think most people believe if you drink, it's going to make you tired and that's your elixir for sleeping. But clearly it is not.
Yeah, and you're right. And that makes me think of a really important point is, when you start looking at, kind of where our health or overall health is as a society, and, and we talked about how difficult it is to break some of these cycles, it really comes down to what I have found is that so many people will do kind of approach one thing out of the lifestyle, so like sleep, they'll just try to get on a sleep pill, but they're not targeting their diet and they're not changing their exercise. And what we really kind of push in lifestyle medicine is that you need to do all of them at the same time. And that's why it's a lifestyle. And so when you think of it that way, you also have to understand that people have to be patient. Everyone wants immediate gratification. And if you think about it, that if you got to, maximize your sleep or improve your sleep, start or at least progress exercise and at least try to eat better. All three of those things are going to take some time. And so, that's what we really look to do is provide a guidance in therapies that can help people put these things all in place. And then over time, they feel better and better and better. And things just, and eventually, you get on autopilot. But the idea of, approaching and trying to get the results that someone's going to expect, you can't just be one of those people that go on a diet but don't exercise and have bad sleep, or they start getting what they think is better sleep, but they're not exercising and they don't have an eating strategy. So you really have to think of that, because overall is just trying to get a regimen down or get a lifestyle in place that will slowly pull you out of this, this hole. And the end result is so much easier to maintain than people think. You just have to get there.
Yeah, we talked last week a lot about moderation and how you're not advocating that people have to abandon everything. I know the big, keto and low carb. I saw a meme the other day about someone who said they went to Costco and bought every single keto snack there was. I started laughing. I'm like, it's funny because when I'm at Costco, I see that everyone's got their carts full of the keto stuff. And, I totally agree with you. I mean, I know that you can lose a lot of weight and quickly. When you do starve your body of carbs, is a lot of the weight that you're losing just water?
Initially, but we store our carbs in our skeletal muscle and our liver, and it's still a very important fuel source. And so when you're not eating any carbs at all, and you're not getting enough calories in, and you're not getting enough protein in, you're not putting yourself in a building phase. You're actually still eating your own muscles. You're still contributing to breaking down the necessary components that you're actually trying to achieve with weight loss. And so that's the whole thing. Some people starve themselves and can lose weight, but they're not getting healthier. And then eventually it causes a rebound effect. And so that is the most important thing, is that you can't be at a calorie deficit, because it's really it's an energy. It's a tug of war between energy. And when you're not eating enough and you're using too much of it, it's going to pull it from somewhere else. And eventually you're going to be unhealthy.
Yeah. I mean, I know the low carb people, they get the instant results because initially they lose the water weight. So I think that kind of fuels them to keep going with it, because they did get that instant result where they might have lost like 5 pounds worth of water. And I know there's a diet program out there right now, which I'm not going to mention the name. I actually had her on my show and she was talking about it. She, lost 20 pounds. But what I will say is they do advocate, lifestyle changes. They're really trying to get you to think about what you're putting into your mouth every day. So that piece of it, I like. I do know there was a lot of soy in the product. Not saying it's not a good product, because I don't know enough about it. I was just curious because it was absolutely sweeping over social media. People now they've got one where you get this funky little spoon and you start drinking all this stuff, and you're supposed to lose weight and all your pain goes away and all that good stuff. All right, we got to take a quick break. You're listening to Elevating with Marcia on XM 203. 217 and on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Today we were talking with Dr. Brent Agin of telewellnessmd.com. Please check it out, telewellnessmd.com. Quick break. We're going to
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
All right, everybody, just heard the 2-minute warning, which means I have to pack it up for another week. We are in the long holiday weekend. I want to wish everyone a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I want to thank Dr. Brent Agin of Telewellness MD for joining me today again in studio to talk about everything that I am absolutely obsessed with. Saw something very interesting on social media platforms today that if you walk into a doctor's office and they're quick to prescribe you something without really getting at the root cause of what's causing your ailments, you might need to find a new doctor. Might be a little controversial to say that. However, I really do believe that. And of course, I am not referencing life-saving medication. That definitely has its place. Again, I'm talking about preventive medicine and a root cause medicine. So again, thank you for joining me today, Dr. Brent Agin. I'm definitely going to have him back on again so we can talk more. Check it out on Facebook and Instagram at Elevating with Marcia. You can direct message me there. Let me know if you have a topic you'd like to talk about, a product or service or a cause. I'd love to have you on the show to highlight that and talk about it. If you want to come on and talk about sports, you want to talk about football, I'm all over that every single day of the week. If you know me, I love football. So I'd love to have you on for that as well. Please stop over to telewellnessmd.com. And again, you can book a consultation with Dr. Agin or one of his colleagues. Highly recommend it. Check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Again, that's MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Check it out. We have some great products. We have some really good business services that we offer, everything from websites to marketing that we provide for you and your business. So check it out. You're listening to Sirius XM, Elevating with Marcia on 203-217 and on the app 967 Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you make it a great week, a great holiday weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Always be in the minute to win it. Adios.